how do Democrats, and for that matter, Republicans, get to the same point you're at, which is at the very least acknowledging that something like this is going to be necessary, let alone palatable?
I think it's hard because we are in the aftermath of a Great Recession, and we can look back in our books, and we all went to school and read about the aftermath of the Great Depression. We know it takes time, a long period of time for attitudes to change, and it takes time for economies to delever to a point at which they can grow again.
Can you imagine having this conversation with Donald Trump?
Well, no. Or with Bernie Sanders.
Really?
I mean, even though Bernie Sanders would be for lots of spending, I don't think he recognizes the delicate combination of finance and economic growth, and so I think they all would be rather obtuse when it comes to a potential solution. Not that mine is an educated opinion, but
well, it's an informed opinion.
Well, yes, but it's just one opinion.
Well, to give you a little bit more credit than perhaps you're giving yourself, so far, the new normal has more or less played out as you predicted. And I'll use your own words to ask this next question. Can we save this pumpkin?
Ooh, well, by the pumpkin, I assume you mean capitalism, because I think almost all of us would agree, even Bernie would agree, that capitalism is the best system going. It has its flaws, but like democracy, it's with us, and we want it to be with us. We want it to thrive. So, if capitalism is the pumpkin, can we not only save it but rejuvenate it? Give it a healthy sheen, like a pumpkin should, before Halloween, not afterwards. I think it's possible, but we need an acknowledgement, like your previous question asked. We need an acknowledgement that both sides of the government need to be pulling in the same direction. I mean, monetary policy has been easing, and fiscal policy hasn't, in my opinion, really done its job. It's been contracting to the point of a near balanced budget, at least in the United States, and certainly in places like Germany. And that's a Keynesian type of idea, and there are those of you that would oppose that. But I think in extremis, when you're trying to save the pumpkin, like Roosevelt did or tried to do in the 30s, some would argue it was the war that really bailed us out. But the government needs to take a temporary place of the private sector if the private sector is unwilling to invest money, and that appears to be the case. So saving the pumpkin requires a change of attitude, I think, fiscally. Easily call it infrastructure spending. That's an easy one for most of us because we know the shape of our roads and bridges and airports and so on. But we need both authorities to be pulling in the same direction in order to make a start. And we do need to maybe get to another question. We do need to re-normalize interest rates. Capitalism cannot survive with 0% interest rates. Capitalism requires risk and risk taking,